All right, so today we're going to first start off with a review of circles, area of circles. Formula for area of circles is pi r squared. It's right here. Area is equal to pi r squared. So let's figure out how we do this first one. We're trying to find this area of the circle. We know A is equal to pi r squared. The only thing we know about the circle is the radius. So r is equal to 5. Plug this in right here. A is equal to pi times 5 squared. A is equal to 25 pi. Well, we're going to calculate it out. 25 times pi. Yep, but it says round to the nearest tenth, which is 1 decimal point. 0.5. So what does that mean? That means inside this theoretical circle that is 5 inch, has a 5-inch radius. Now this isn't necessarily completely true. Like, that's not drawn to scale. But you will be able to fit in 78.5 1-inch squares inside the circle. And the 0.5 comes from the curves. Yeah, little squares. Probably. Mm-hmm. So like, if you watch, if we were to grid this, I'm just gridding them. So if you were to do this by 1 inch by 1 inch, so this was 1 inch and this was 1 inch, there would be 78 of them, and then the perimeter ones around. You see how like that's not really a square? Those ones would add up to the 0.5. So that's what it means by the area. All right, this one we are given a diameter. We know our diameter is equal to 20 meters. If our diameter is equal to 20, how much is our radius equal to? Cut it in half, so 10. Plug it in and figure it out. Okay. Area is equal to pi times 10 squared. Area is equal to pi times 100. 100 times pi is equal to 314.2 meters squared. All right. Find the area. It's not find the area. The area of the circle is equal to 153.9 squared centimeters. Find the diameter. So we're kind of doing the opposite of what we did before. We know the area, and we're trying to find the diameter. But in order to find the diameter, we can first find the radius and multiply it by 2. So the first thing that's what we're trying to find. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to divide by pi. Cancels out. $153.9. There's too much giggling going on. Pretty much 49. If you would round this to the nearest tenth, this would round up, that would round up, so it's 49. 49 is equal to r squared. Take the square root of 49, and we're going to get 7. Is that the answer? No. Nope, we're trying to find the diameter. We have the radius, so how do we get the diameter from radius? Times 2. 14 is equal to the diameter. And it's 14 centimeters. And that is the answer. Nope. All right, try doing this one on your own then. So, We're going to write the equation. We know 907.9 is equal to pi r squared. Divide both sides by pi. Cancels out. (907.9) divided by pi, and we get pretty much 289 is equal to r squared. Square that, we get 17 is equal to r 17 inches. Alright, you guys are getting a little too rambunctious right now. Uh-huh. Okay, I won't give you a 1. I'll give you multiple ones. Yeah, no. You probably get a 2. With kindness. Can't stop, won't stop. All right. So what we are doing today is we are trying to find the area of a sector. So if you have a pizza and you take a slice out, if we were in geometry class, you'd be calling that not a slice of pizza, a sector of pizza. For example, if you look here, this slice you took out here, that is a sector. So we're trying to find the area of that slice or the area of that sector of pizza. So yesterday we figured out the crust, how long this was, right? Today what we are learning is how much area this takes up, how much pizza you're actually eating, not just crust, all of it. The formula, which is on the front page, is this. It's actually right here too. Area is equal to pi r squared times the measurement of the angle divided by 360. This is different than the one we learned yesterday, because the one we learned yesterday was 2 pi r, which is circumference formula. Now we're using the area formula. So it's very, very, very similar to what we were doing before. So similar, in fact, that you might get confused on your test on which one to use. Measurement of the angle divided by 360. You have a test next week. Thursday, I think, right before you go off on vacation. And you never have to see me again. Don't be too excited. Oh, that hurts. Definitely can give her 1s now. Maybe. Alright. So, let's figure out what the R value is here. R is 3 feet. Measurement of the angle is 45 degrees. Plug these in. Area is equal to pi times 3 squared times 45 degrees divided by 360. Plug into the calculator. Pi times 3 squared times 45 divided by 360. 3.5. It says nearest 10. 3.5 feet squared. That's a really big pizza. Because it's an area. Areas are always squared. Also, it's squared because look at the radius. Radius squared. For area is always squared. Volume is always cubed. To the third power. That's an M with an angle. Man, I hope there isn't a talking during class category, because you would definitely get a 4 on that one. Yeah, because you're really good at it. True. All right. Let's figure out this one. So, we are going to, we have to figure out what all of this is. All that angle. Do you think that angle is 20 degrees?
No.
That's how I feel. No. Of course not. The small part's 20 degrees. So how, you are 100% correct. You take 360 degrees. All right, you need to calm down a little bit. Take 360 degrees, and you're going to subtract 20 degrees out. If you subtract this 20 degrees, you're left over with what's ever remaining. So, we know what our measurement of our angle is. We need to figure out what our radius is. Our radius was 7. So, we know the formula, which is right here, pi times 7 squared times 340 divided by 360. Pi times 7 squared times 340 divided by 360. 145.4. 145.4 meters squared. All right, this next one, very similar to 6, pretty much the exact same problem except for different numbers. I want you to do this one on your own. Okay, you're going to you find the area of the shaded part. So it has to be 360 minus 36. 324. The radius is 10. Pi times 10 squared times 324 divided by 360.
Yes, sir.
Pi times 10 squared times 324 divided by 360. Every time I turn my back, I'm hearing you giggle. 282.7. Okay. Brianna, that doesn't excuse your language. This. Yeah. Well, it gets a tiny bit harder at this next one. How about you come sit up? Look, I want you guys to separate. No, Daniel. I want you to sit on that table over there for today. Thank you, Daniel. For a party, Samantha wants to have finger sandwiches. She cuts the finger sandwiches into circles. She cuts the circles into 3 congruent sections. So she's taking her finger sandwich and she's cutting it into thirds. What is the area of each finger sandwich? So we need to figure out how many degrees each finger sandwich is. We have this one is the same as this one. All of those are the same. Valeria. Thank you. All of those angles are the same. How do I know those are all the same? Because we have 3 congruent finger sandwiches. So the formula to figure this out would be pi r squared times the measurement of the angle divided by 360. Pi times the area is 2.5 squared times, how much is each one of these? It would be 360 divided evenly between how many sandwiches? 3. You get 120 over 360. I wrote this a little bit weird. Plug into your formula. Pi times 2.5 squared times 120 divided by 360. And we get 6.5. 6.5 inches squared. Okay, that's actually the hardest way to do this problem. There's a much easier way if you think about this for more than a second. Okay, we know we have 3 congruent parts, correct? So why don't we find the area of the circle and divide it by 3, because there's 3 congruent parts. So if we find the area, which is pi r squared, so pi times 2.5 squared, if we divide this by 3, we'll find the area of each one. Pi times 2.5 squared divided by 3, and same answer. It does work all the time, actually. What? For that, well, actually, if you look at what this number is here, because there's 3 even spots. 3 even spots. But actually, guys, if you look at this, yeah. Well, as long as they're equal. So if there's 4 equal sections, yeah, you would divide the area by 4. So what's the point of having 120 over 30? 360. If you actually enter this in, it's going to be 1 over 3. So divide by 3. 1 over 3 is the same as divide by 3. So if you look at all these problems we did over here, you're really taking the area of the circle and dividing it by whatever fraction this is. It's not going to be as neat as this one. Okay? What it really is, all this formula really is you're taking the area of a circle and you're multiplying it by a percentage of what you want. So in this one, we're taking the area and we're multiplying it by 0.333 or 1 over 3%. Or sorry, yeah, 33 repeating percent. Okay. Last question. The area of the circle is 214.44 square centimeters. The area of the sector is 28 centimeters. Find the indicated measurement. It doesn't really tell you which measurement you're trying to find. So what we're going to do, we're going to figure out how big the angle is. So we want to figure out how big the angle is. It's actually no, the angle. No, I said the angle. What? All right. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to use the same formula. The area, I'm going to do it up here because it's easier for me to write. Area is equal to pi r squared times the measure of the angle divided by 360. Do we know what the area is? Yeah, it's right there. 124. We know the area of this circle is 124.44. And is that going to go here, or is that going to go here? The A actually stands for area of sector. This is the area of circle formula. What's the area of circle formula? Pi r squared, right? So this is going to replace pi r squared. 0.234, 124.444. So instead of having this section, well, we know pi r squared is equal to 124.44. Okay, because that's the area formula. We know A, the area of sector, is equal to 28. So that's the tricky part, is realizing that. What's the formula for an area of a circle? Pi r squared. So pi r squared equals 100 is equal to that. So instead of replacing the A, you're actually replacing this entire thing here. Because we already have A. A is 28. The 28 is equal to 124.44 times the measurement of the angle divided by 360. We're going to want to get that 360 out of there, right? So we're going to, opposite of dividing is going to be multiplying, so we're going to multiply 360 on both sides. .28 divided by 360 is going to be a pretty low number, 0.07778 is equal to, oh, I'm sorry, you do multiply. 28 times, that's a pretty big number. 10,080 is equal to 124.44 times the measurement of our angle. We're almost done. We just need to get rid of this number, right? Divide. Divide both sides by that number. That cancels out. And the answer we get is 81. So we know it's going to be 81 degrees. All right. That's